Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Saturday, April 23rd, 2016, around 7:10 in the evening in Billerica, Massachusetts. Still a sunny day out, but the sun's going down. It's about in the 50s. Tonight's gonna go down into the 40s. But tomorrow, another great day. Some news to report. The Pittsburgh Penguins beat the New York Rangers by a score of 6-3 today, eliminating the New York Rangers from the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Penguins advanced to the second round, and also the Toronto Raptors lost to the Indiana Pacers by a score of 183. The Pacers even that series 2 games apiece. This could go 7, and that's about it on news. I know. My third and final video blog subject of the night is my personality profile. Tonight's personality profile is about WWE Hall of Fame manager Precious Paul Ellerning. Precious Paul was involved in the world of sports entertainment for over 20 years. He was known for being the manager of the Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors, and he actually had a successful wrestling career before becoming a manager. Paul was born and he grew up in Minnesota, which was a wrestling hotbed because that was AWA territory. Before Paul got involved in pro wrestling, he was a competitive weightlifter. He set records for lifting a deadlift over 740 pounds, and he was a strong guy. Naturally, he wanted to go into pro wrestling. He was trained by Vern Gagne, the owner and longtime AWA world champion. He attended a camp in Minnesota on a farm. Out of 30 people who were involved in that camp, which for his class, only him and another wrestler called by the name Steve O made it to the world of professional wrestling. Paul made his debut in AWA. He was a singles and tag team wrestler, but he didn't get too much of a push. Then he went to other territories, including Mid-South and Memphis, while he was a face and a heel. He kind of had a style like Jesse Ventura and superstar Billy Graham. He was a great talker. He won a few regional tag team titles and singles titles. He was once managed by the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, in Memphis when he feuded with Jerry the King Lawler. In the spring of 1981, Paul injured his knee severely in a match against Robert Gibson pre-Rock and Roll Express days. He was out on a shelf for many months. He tried to come back, but the knees were bothering him. He had to stop wrestling full time. But the Championship Wrestling, Georgia Championship Wrestling booker and owner, Ole Anderson, saw Paul Ellery talk, and he says he would make a great heel manager. And then Paul was a manager in Georgia Championship Wrestling for a while. His first client was Buzz Sawyer. Then he managed other wrestlers, including Killer Carl Cox and the Masked Superstar and the Iron Sheik and the Spoiler, King Kong Bundy, Jake the Snake Roberts. But his most famous wrestlers he managed were the Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors. And the Road Warriors were so awesome. They were heels, and it was being cheered. And Precious Paul Ellery carried the Wall Street Journal around. He was famous for saying, "Who's gonna beat us?" Paul and the Road Warriors were like together for many years in several territories, including Georgia Championship Wrestling, AWA, Florida, Portland, Memphis, Jim Crockett Promotions, NWA, and the Road Warriors won many tag team titles with Paul Ellering in their corner, and they were turned face because the fans cheered them and stuff. And once in a while, Paul would get involved in matches for 6-man tags or war games and stuff. And backstage, Paul handled the Road Warriors' finances and booked their appearances, took care of the hotel reservations. He was, pretty good doing that. And when he was with Jim Crockett Promotions, he got paid $250,000. That was unheard of for a face wrestling manager, which most face wrestling managers are pointless. He was even making more money per year than some of the big stars in Jim Crockett Promotions. Unbelievable. But when the 80s turned to the 90s, Jim Crockett Promotions evolved into WCW. The Road Warriors and Paul Ellery's contract were not renewed in June of 1990. There was a plan to turn the Road Warriors against each other and have Paul manage a heel Hawk against a face Animal, but they shot down that plan, and then the WWE called, and they did not want Paul Ellering because they didn't want him at all. So the Road Warriors went to WWE without Paul Ellering. For the couple of years he did other stuff. And in 1992, the WWE brought back Paul Ellering at WrestleMania. They called him the missing piece of the puzzle. And then the Legion of Doom and Paul Ellering brought a ventriloquist dummy called Rocco, because the storyline says Rocco was an old friend of the Legion of Doom in Chicago. They're not from Chicago. This was kayfabe. Actually, the Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal, were born in Minnesota, just like Paul Ellering. And Paul Ellering did some ventriloquist classes. It was, kind of silly and stuff. It was gimmickry. Eventually, the Legion of Doom and Paul Ellering left the WWE, and for several years, Paul Ellering left professional wrestling, and he became a sled dog rider. He ran in many Iditarod races. Unbelievable. He came back to the world of professional wrestling in 1998 as a manager of the DOA, which was, awful. This is when the Vince Russo era. Paul Ellering were against the Legion of Doom, and he really did not want to do that because he and Hawk and Animal were real tight backstage. No, they were real tight in backstage, and they were really best friends, but it was the WWE Attitude Era and the Vince Russo era, and Paul Ellering probably wanted some bucks, and was also nicknamed Mr. .com as well, and he swore that shirt, "Who's gonna beat us?" Eventually, the DOA turned on Paul Ellering, and he briefly managed the Legion of Doom again before they left the WWE for good. And Paul Ellering appeared a few independent cards in the late 90s, early 2000s, but he left the world of professional wrestling completely to focus on his Iditarod racing. He finished high in the 50s a couple of times. He did some shoot interviews, which were decent, And in 2011, he got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame as part of the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, which that was an honor well deserved. Paul Elleri's career was good. He latched on to the Legion of Doom and stuff. And he probably is one of the top managers of all time. And that's about it on Paul Ellering. And that's about it on these video blogs: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. I'm gonna do 3 more tomorrow as usual. First video blog will be about the continuation of the top 70 NBA players of all time from number 20 to number 11. Second video blog will be about the sports reporters on ESPN. And the third and final video blog of the night will be about the Masked Superstar. That's the last personality profile I'm doing for April, because I usually, at the last week of each month, there's no personality profiles, but there'll be a lot of great ones in May. I'll tell you more what you expect on them tomorrow. Keep calm, everybody. I'm Julie Running Guy. Marley was my love. WCCO Huxon has nice legs. Elizabeth Hart so stunning. She's got nice legs as well. And Amy Swensley's awesome. And Barbara Gibbs of ABC 11 has that sweet southern accent. It's so cool. And Linda Church of WPIX Channel 11 is the best. And in the words of Sean Lucha, get out! And in the words of the Patel last week, no boss, good night everybody, and sweet dreams.